The consumer price index is used to calculate how much they're paying people with Social Security. By law, they have to use that to calculate that. So they basically artificially suppress the consumer price index so they can lower the burden of how much they have to pay in Social Security so that we don't go bankrupt and the whole economy just blow up, right? If you read back into the report, that's basically the gist of what I got. They wanted more control of the consumer price index so that they can manipulate it and give themselves more wiggle room for other things. And what it sounds to me is just like putting a Band-Aid on a structure that's doomed to fall. And this is basically what we've been talking about ever since, the Bretton Woods Agreement back in 1944 when they took the dollar off the gold standard, right? Maybe they couldn't keep up with that. So their actual readings were changed, right? Which is a consumer price index. It's a very important reading that everybody kind of looks at. They basically artificially suppressed it on purpose to basically match their ambitions. All right, so enough of the talking and stuff. Let's do the math. Now, I know a lot of this stuff is going over people's head, but just bear with me. It's going to start to make sense. According to the traditional CPI that's currently being used as of today's date, there's about a 209% increase in inflation from the years of 1980 to 2020 in a 40-year span. So if we guesstimate, the next 40 years and say that it's going to be on average what it is now, we could easily see that $100 to get the same purchasing power of $100 today, you would essentially have to have $309.86. Okay, so that basically means it's about a 209% inflation. Again, that's normal. That's what we're used to, right? That's about 5% a year. This is what they've been reporting. And it gets offset, quote unquote, by your 7 to 10% investments, what people traditionally tell you to do, right? It's supposed to offset it, guys. Don't worry. Inflation's not that big of a deal. Let's sweep it under the rug because you're getting the 7 to 10% investments. If anything, you're making out, you're doing better, and the economy is still good, blah, 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 whatever lie they want to feed you. So let's look at this as a retirement. So basically, by the standard of what they're talking about, $1 million will be worth exactly $350,000. Okay, so you lose a lot of money, but the investments will make up for it. It will be more than $1 million, right? That's the goal. Now, this is where it's going to blow your mind, because if we use the same way of calculating CPI as they did in 1980, okay, and you should definitely take this consideration because the federal government did this. They used it for a very long time, okay, before changing it. Remember, the change is only 40 years old. Okay, but the consumer price index has been calculated for far more than that. So if anything, the old one has more relevance than the new one. Okay, this is only a 40-year experiment, people. So if you use, bear with me here, but if you use the old way of calculating inflation, $1 million, okay, will be worth roughly $47,800, guys. $47,800. 40 years from now. So in 2060, you'd be able to buy just like a Tesla, like a low-end Tesla with $1 million. Let me show you how I got that number. So according to the calculators, you can see here, the real inflation is 1,991%. $100 now will get you an equivalent of $4.78 40 years from now, if we take in consideration the last 40 years and use that as an average. Okay, so that basically means $100 will get you like a pack of gum or something like that. It's crazy. So if we look at that 1,991% divided by 40 years, you can quickly see that your investments have to grow at about 49 to 50% a year. So if your investments grow about 50% a year, you are preserving your purchasing power. Anything over that will be considered a return or actual profit. Okay, this is how you should be calculating your retirement, guys. This is the truth. Even if I'm half right, let's say, these numbers are a little bit inflated and they're completely full of BS, but you guys can go look it up for yourself. They're legitimate in every way, shape, or form, but you can go look it up for yourself. You could see that even if I'm half right, 7 to 10% is not cutting it, right? Even if I'm half right. I know most of you feel it. You don't need like data to tell you that 7 to 10% is not profitable. It's not life-changing. You're not going to get any freedom. You're doing what everybody else is doing, right? It's as simple, straightforward as that. Like, I don't need to really argue too much about that.